Om Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
मा कुरु धन जन यौवन गर्भं हरति निमेषात् कालः सर्वम् मायामयमिदमखिलं बुद्ध्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविश विदित्वा विनयामिन्यौ सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायातः कालक्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशावायुः काते कान्तात् अनगतचिन्ता वातुलकिं तव नास्ति नियन्ता त्रिजगति सज्जन संगतिरेका भवति भवार्णवतरणे नौका जटिलो मुण्डी लुण्ठितकेशः काषायाम्बर बहुकृतवेषः पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढो क्षुधरनिमित्तं बहुकृतवेषः अङ्गं गलितं फलितं मुण्डं दशनविहीनं शान्तं पुण्डम् वृद्धो याति गृहीत्वा दण्डम् तदपि न मुञ्चत्याशापिण्डम्
Oh, distracted one. Hey, Vatula, distracted one. Why worry about the things? Wife, wealth, and so on. Why worry about them? Is there not for you the one who ordains in the three worlds? It is association with good people alone that can serve as a boat to cross the sea of change, birth and death. Verse number 30. We were continuing. Now, is there not for you the one who ordains? Is there not an ordainer? Is there not a divine? And we have seen any number of times, divine and the law is one and the same. God and law is one and the same. In the language of devotion, you can use the word God. In the language of jnanam, you can use the word law. But both means one and the same. Is there not for you the one who ordains? Ordains means one who rules and commands. Ordainer means he is the ruler, he is the commander. He tells you what to do, what not to do. When there is this law that is functioning, why worry? Why worry about things? And how many ever times we hear this, we keep worrying. the way we live life, predominantly it is one of misery and anguish. The way in which we live life, predominantly it is that. Yes, there are drops of honey also we get. It's not that we don't get those drops of honey. We do get those drops of honey, but in and through those drops of honey, predominantly it is anguish and misery. In order to move away from this anguish and misery, in order to escape from this anguish and misery, we distract ourselves into various activities. We just get busy. Therefore, we say, keep yourself busy, keep yourself busy, keep yourself busy. If you are not keeping yourself busy, it's not that you are meditating, chanting the Lord's name. If you are not keeping yourself busy, what are you doing? If you don't keep yourself busy, what will you be doing? You will be sitting worrying about the something. Something you will worry. Something the mind will be distracted all the time. That is Vatula. So, you take away the activity, the mind gets distracted. So, in order to keep the mind stable, in order to keep the mind normal, you have to keep feeding it constant activities. And that very activity itself causes worry. Now, you don't know what to do. If you stop, in order to stop worrying, you have to, in order to stop worrying, you have to be in activity, and the very activity itself causes worry. What we do with one hand, we undo with another hand. This is how human life goes on. What we do with one hand, we, we undo that. Every individual suffers from this disease. All individuals suffers from this disease. What is the disease? What you make with one hand, you destroy with another hand. In the Bible, there is a beautiful story. Uh, Jesus Christ used to repeat this story quite a few times. Beautiful story. The owner of the field sowed wheat. Next morning, the servants came and saw lot of wild seeds were also thrown in the same field. Now they are getting now they are getting worried. Now they are getting agitated. Who is the one who is coming and sowing the wild seeds? How to save the crop? How to save the crop now? Because both the seeds are mixed up. How to save the crop now? You remove the wild seed, the wheat seed also gets removed. You understand that, no? If the wild seed is removed, the wheat also gets removed. It means you will end up not having anything. Therefore, they decided what? Let both grow. Finally, after the harvest is over, we will segregate the two. After the harvest is over, we will segregate the two. One person said, no, this method doesn't work. One wise person said, this method doesn't work. Why? Evil should be destroyed as early as possible. You don't keep it. You don't allow it to grow along with you don't allow the weed to grow along with the wheat and then sit and segregate. We are happy doing that. Yeah, that's how we live life. We make both grow together and we try to segregate. Then those servants got together and decided who is against our master, who is the enemy of our master that they are throwing wild seeds. Inquiring. One person seemed to know the answer, and he is not giving the answer. So he was taken aside and said, "Tell me, we will not, we will keep it between us. We will keep it. We will not share it to anybody." Who? It is our master who has thrown the seeds. The person throw the wheat seeds during the daytime and goes and throws the wild seeds in the night. This is how we live life. What you build in the day, you demolish in the night. What you do at one point of time, you go on demolishing it at another point in time. Why do you do that? What makes a human being to do that? Distractions, worry. They go on worrying. That worry drives them into an action, and that very action itself causes the weed to grow. You do the right thing, and then you start worrying. Out of that worry, you do something, and that worry itself is the weed. And you go on and on and on. And he says, all human beings die this. All human beings does this mistake. Why we go on doing this mistake? Why we go on doing this mistake? What is the reason for this mistake? We go on undoing. What is the reason? What is the reason? The hurry, the impatience. We have forgotten patience is great strength. Patience means great strength. Not asking means self-confidence. We have not understood all that. We have missed all this. Not to ask for anything means you have tremendous self-confidence. That's why you don't go and ask. You lack in self-confidence, you go and ask. Similarly, paradoxical it is. And we have said this any number of times. Life is full of this. Life is full of such paradoxes. And what is this paradox? Patience is a great strength, but we are so impatient. Patience is a great strength as an advice to others. But as far as I am concerned, I will be impatient only. Patience is a virtue for others. But when it comes to me, it is. But sir, in the world, patience and all doesn't work. You have to be fast, quick. Then only it works. Jesus Christ. You sow the weed, you sow the wheat and you sow the wheat. Both will grow together. In fact, the weed will outgrow the wheat. As a tragedy. You put together, the weed always grows faster than the wheat. It outgrows. Why? Tremendous impatience. Why this impatience? Greed. Every human being believes that they should get it. They should get it. Have you ever observed when you button your shirt normally, you can button it properly. If you button your shirt in a hurry, what happens? Yeah. I still remember. I don't know how to translate that in English. Grandmother used to say, அவசரத்துல அண்டாலே கை போவாது. See, anda means, I don't know how to translate anda into English now. A vessel, a huge vessel where 20 human beings can sit inside. That's called anda. 20 human beings can sit. When you are in a hurry, the hand will not go inside, you see. When you are in a hurry, it will go here, there, but except that. In that irritation, you will show your anger on the shirt. In your irritation, where will you show your anger upon? You will show the anger on the shirt, and you think the shirt is your enemy. You think the shirt is delaying you. Who's delayed? You have delayed yourself. Remember this. All that is virtue for your growth and all that is virtues as far as the world is concerned are diametrically opposite. Both doesn't go together. That which the world says as meaningful is meaningless as far as your inner growth is concerned. If for your inner growth, the rules are very, very different. That's what he says, Vatula. Vatula means the distracted one. Why are you getting distracted? What is the distraction? Only two things distracts. Wife, wealth, and so on. Not to be taken literally. You can take it literally also, and also symbolically. What is the way out? Till you understand there is an ordainer for you, till you understand there is an ordainer who's going to take care of you, or distracted one, what is the immediate method? Satsanga is the immediate method. So what is the immediate method? In the three worlds, it is association with good people. Satsanga alone that can serve as a boat to cross the sea of change. Sat means wise. Sat means spiritual seekers also. The word Sat can be interpreted in different ways. The word Sat means wise. Another meaning of the word Sat is spiritual seekers. So, association with the wise, associating with the seekers. It means two things. Associating with the wise and associating with the seekers. In that association, what happens? From Artha Kama, the conviction will move on to Dharma and Moksha. Because the limitations of Artha Kama will be clear. We are not saying it is useless. We are saying it is limited. Understand the difference between useless and limited. Limited means it has some minor utility, some social utility it has, but it is in no way dependent. It is in no way meaningful for your inner growth. That which is useful to the world is useless for your inner growth. You can keep it as the law. So, Artha Kama, etc. is useful for worldly transactions. For worldly vyavahara purposes, Artha Kama is important. But here, when we are talking about the inner growth, that Artha Kama is of no use. It is absolutely irrelevant. Then what works? Satsanga. Satsanga. That satsanga helps you to understand the ordainer. Satsanga helps you to understand there is this ordainer. There is this ordainer means there is this person. There is the law that is functioning. Okay. Adhyantavanta Kaunteya, he said in chapter 5. Adhyantavanta Kaunteya. Adhyantavanta Kaunteya means is Arthakama have a beginning and an end. They have a beginning and an end. Elsewhere he says Agama Painaha Anityaha. Combine all this. What is Arthakama? Agama Painaha Anityaha. Adhyantavanta Kaunteya. Chapter 5. It has a beginning and an end. See, that which has a beginning and an end will generate pain ultimately. Whether we like it or not, that which has a beginning and an end will end up in generating pain. But why are you saying that? How are you saying that it will end up necessarily in generating? Why are you saying that it will end up in generating pain? Why can't it? But doesn't it give some happiness? Doesn't it give some joy? Yes, it does give some joy. It does give some happiness. And what comes after that happiness? What comes after that momentary happiness? What comes after that short period of happiness is a long period of sorrow. Dukkha yonaya. It's wombs of sorrow, he said. What is this wombs of sorrow? This Arthakama is wombs of sorrow. Therefore, what do? You give it the right value. You understand what it can give. You understand what it cannot give. That's all. Once you understand what it can do and you understand what it cannot do, you are all right. That takes long time. That takes long time to understand. So till that time, what do you do? Satsanga. Practice satsang. Satsang means associating with the wise, associating with the seeker. Predominantly, we don't mean associating with the wise. Predominantly, we mean associating with the fellow seekers. Satsanga means associating with the fellow seekers. Poor wise fellow. Let's leave him alone for a while, isn't it? So let us torture amongst ourselves. So satsanga means association of the fellow seekers. Associating of the fellow seekers means what? They will talk about only that. When those who like cricket meet, what will they talk about? Cricket. Those, when they talk about politics, what will they talk? Politics. Those who want to evolve about Brahman, what will they talk? Group discussion, Shailesh. Group discussion, I don't know what they will do. But he's saying practice satsang. Practice satsang. That satsang takes away the chinta. Chinta means strong, obsessed, clinging passion. That's what chinta is. Dana, gata, chinta. Chinta means you are constantly thinking about it. Because you are constantly thinking about it, you need to shift it. You have to shift your attention. Now, in order to shift your attention, if there is a group, it's easy to shift the attention. Ultimately, you have to be by yourself. Satsanga and all you have to outgrow. Ultimately, you have to outgrow satsanga also. But in the beginning, don't try to, that which you have to outgrow, don't outgrow in the beginning. Isn't it? Anyway, you have to get out of the university. Therefore, I will not get into the university only. Isn't it? That's the logic. Yeah. So anyway, we have to get out, no, one day. Therefore, why will I even get in? No. When you get out, you will be a different person. You get in. When you get in, you will be a different person. When you get out, you will be a different person. Therefore, get in only to Get out. This endless, inexhaustible passion for wealth. Why this inexhaustible passion for wealth? Because through wealth, all that is needed can be bought. That is why a human being is not interested in wealth. The human being is interested in wealth because through wealth, everything can be bought. Wise one understands there are a few things that cannot be bought. Wise understands there are a few things that doesn't have a price tag. The Vatula always believes everything has a price tag. Price only differs, sir. That's all. It's a price only differs. Somebody falls for 100 rupees, somebody will fall for 100,000 rupees. But everybody definitely has a price tag. Because we come from this conviction that everything has a price tag, we want to pay the price. And if you want to pay the price, in order to get it, what you need? Wealth. Therefore, acquire wealth. If you understand that the beautiful things in life, the extraordinary things in life doesn't have a price tag, what happens? That craving, obsession will come down. That's how you get rid of the craving and obsession, because the meaningful things in life doesn't come with the price tag. Definitely wealth gives you something. We are not saying wealth is not giving you anything. Wealth gives you something. But that which wealth can give is as superficial as it is. Hey Vatula, hey Vatula, hey Vatula. Oh, distracted one. Distracted into money and pleasures. Distracted by what? Distracted by wealth and pleasures. Wealth, through wealth, pleasure. Understand it like that. Vatula means distracted by wealth and pleasures. Trijagati Sajjana Sangati Reka Bhavati Bhavarnava Tarane. Trijagati means three Jagat, three worlds. Three Jagat means three worlds. What are the three worlds? There are three worlds. Hell, heaven, in between where we are, Karma Bhumi. So there are three lokas, three Jagat. What are the three Jagat? One is hell. Another is heaven. Between hell and heaven comes this place. Karma Bhumi, this is called. This is called Karma Bhumi because this is where actions are done. And what is done here as an action alone creates the other two lokas. So the Karma Bhumi creates the lokas of Swarga and Naraka. Trijagati Sajjana Sangati Reka. Trijagati means in all the three worlds, holding on to this can never give you what you are seeking. Can never give you what you are seeking. If you are seeking stability, it cannot come through this. Whatsoever you are attached to, that becomes your distraction. Whatsoever you are attached to is that by which you are distracted. If you are attached to wealth, it is the wealth that is distracting. If you are attached to the family, it is the family that is distracting. What is attachment? What is the meaning of attachment? Attachment means confusion, delusion. Attachment means confusion, delusion. How do you say attachment means confusion, delusion? Attachment means You hate and love the same person. You don't know what to do with that person. If you can 100% hate, absolutely no problem. If you can 100% love, again, absolutely no problem. That's why you find people attained moksha by these two 100% methods. A few attained moksha by 100% hatred method. Who are those who attained moksha by 100% hatred? Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, all these people attained moksha by 100% hatred. And there are very rare that category, Rakshasa category. And there are wonderful category who attained moksha by 100% love. Rest are all attached. Rest all live a life of attachment. Now, what is the life of attachment? Love and hate coexist. In that coexisting love and hate, you really don't know. You really don't know what to do. You love the person and you hate the person. Have you ever observed, why do you fight with the person that you love? Have you ever observed that? Whoever you are obsessed with, you will fight to maximum. Srikanth, என்கிட்ட யாருமே சண்டை போட மாட்டேன்றாங்கப்பா. I'm also waiting. Somebody will fight with you. You will fight with the one whom you are obsessed with. You will otherwise, because it's an intense love and intense hatred coexisting is called attachment. Distraction. Oh, vatula. Get? You are distracted. You are distracted by this. Come to Govinda. Come to Govinda through satsanga. Come to Govinda through satsanga. Satsanga means two things. Satsanga means associating with the good, associating with the wise, associating with the good. Okay. Now you can't keep associating with a group of people all the time. Yeah, because everybody has to do their own things also. No? Everybody has their swadharma karma. No? Everybody has their swadharma karma. Everybody has their duties and obligations. So what do you do in those times? How do you practice satsanga in those times? Dharma. So dharma is one kind of satsanga. Fellow seekers is another kind of satsanga. Wise one is the third satsanga. Now, the third satsanga, the wise one, forget it. Because we really don't know how to assess who's wise, who's unwise. And our standards of assessment of wise and unwise is so weird. Isn't it? In the Gurus, in the Prashnottara Ratnamalika, Prashnottara Ratnamalika is one text by Adi Shankaracharya. Nothing but a Ganesha Ganu. Group discussion or questions alla onnaki or book pota, that is Prashnottara Ratnamalika. Ganesh. Yeah. What all happens in group discussion, questions alla varum. And then you collect all that and put it into a book. That is called Prashnottara Ratnamalika. So the disciples went on asking questions and Shankara kept on giving answers. All that is compiled into one book. இப்பெல்லாம் ஷார்ட்ஸ் வீடியோவா போடுறோம், அப்பெல்லாம் புக்னு போட்டார் போல இருக்கு இல்லையா? அப்பெல்லாம் he made it into one book, Prashnottara Ratnamalika. In that beautiful question, one of the beautiful question. Yeah. Ko Guruhu. Who is the Guru? அப்படின்னு யாரை போய் கேட்கறது? See, whom do you go and ask? Who is the Guru? Ko Guruhu. Kaha Guru. Who is the Guru? Now, whom do you go and ask? The Guru only you have to ask. Look at the irony here. Whom can you go and ask? See, who is the good doctor? Who's the good guru? Whom can you go and ask who's a good guru? Who you can go and ask? Therefore, the third satsanga, we really don't talk about it a lot. What is the third satsanga? Associating with the wise one. That's choice. Forget that. So focus on two. What are the two? Associating with dharma and fellow seekers. Associating with dharma and fellow seekers is satsanga. Because we will not know how to measure who's a wise one. Whom to tell who's wise? How do we even know who's wise? Very difficult is to measure wisdom. Or we measure wisdom according to your understanding of wisdom. And your understanding of wisdom and what wisdom is. I'm talking about wisdom in the sense of moksha. Wise men in the sense of enlightened one, I'm talking. Our measurement of enlightenment, our measurement of wisdom and all is so limited. Isn't it? Isn't it? In one of the Upanishads, Janaka, the king. Janaka, not Ashtavakra Janaka. This is another Janaka. There are a lot of same names will appear right through. So you will never know. You will never know who's who. And we don't worry about who's who and all. In this culture, we don't worry about who is. We will not say Pope John Paul I, John Paul III, Shankaracharya 45, Shankaracharya 165. We don't say all the Shankaracharya means that's it. One. Clear? Janaka. So Janaka wanted to identify who's the wise one. He wants to know who to go and ask wise, unless they say they are wise. And when they say they are wise, they have to be prepared to answer the questions also, isn't it? I am wise, but don't ask me any questions. It is not wisdom. Therefore, what Janaka did, he is the king. He brought in 1,000 cows, 1,000 best cows. And the horns were decorated with gold and diamonds and everything. 1,000 cows with diamond and gold and everything. There was an assembly of wise group. Janaka said, whoever is the wisest, take it. If somebody takes it, he will know that this man is the wisest and it is better to go and study under him. Nobody dare touch it. Everybody is looking at one another. Nobody dare touch it. Yeah, very difficult to touch. Who will have the courage to touch it? See, if you don't know Brahman, who will have the courage to say, I know Brahman? Without knowing Brahman, if somebody says, I know Brahman or Narayana, yes, intoxicating, madness to the core it is. Isn't it? So, even the person who has hit 99% will not say, I know Brahman. Yeah. Nowadays, everybody is saying, I am enlightened. Yeah. Today, this Kali Yuga, we don't know what to talk about this Kali Yuga now. Isn't it? In those days, some fear they had to utter the.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody is looking at each other. Nobody is getting up, doing anything. Yajnavalkya got up. He called the student and said, take these cows to our ashram. He got up and he said, take these cows to our ashram. And everybody got upset with Yajnavalkya. How dare you claim that you are wise? Prove to me that you are wise. Now, how to prove that you are wise? You can't bring vibhuti and show that you are wise. You can walk on water and show you are wise. You can't give an electrifying discourse and say you are wise. You can't start dancing in the name of God and prove that you are wise. Or you can put all this together. All this put together also doesn't prove that you are wise. Beautiful conversation. One of the Upanishads it is. One of the chapters in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is this conversation. where everybody keeps on asking questions and Yajnavalkya keeps on answering, and everybody finally agreed that you are a Brahmavit, you are the wisest. So, three definitions to satsang. What are the three definitions to satsang? Wise one, fellow seekers, dharma. Of the three, forget the wise one. Hold on to fellow seekers and dharma. That holding on to fellow seekers and dharma will point out the right direction. Trijagati Sajjana Sangati Reka Bhavati Bhavar Navatarane Nauka. Then that becomes the boat. Then that becomes the boat that securely takes you from one to the other. How to move away from distracted one to having direction in life? Shift your priorities. Assess your priorities. Ask what are your priorities in life. By knowing for yourself what your priorities are, you know how you are distracted. Priorities. And all the priorities will be Dana, Gata, Chinta. That Kanta, Dana, it will be only circling around these. It is Agama Painaha, it is Anityaha. Also, it is at Adyantavantaha, meaning they have a beginning and an end, they come and go. That which has a beginning and an end, that which comes and goes, leaves misery. Yes.
So we are satsang, GD, both are same. We are supposed to learn 1% from fellow seekers. So how to receive the concept from the fellow seekers? How to surrender and receive?
The question is how to associate with the fellow seekers, because ego is blocking. We don't know associate. The problem is we want to give a discourse. The problem with fellow seekers is there is no fellow seeking. One wants to give a discourse to the other, and the other is waiting. Yeah. That's why we give time in GD. 3 minutes give discourse. Your time limit for giving a discourse is 3 minutes. As soon as 3 minutes is over, ring the bell. Venkat monitor bell la vechirkala. Ring the bell and say time is over. Another person, that is not satsang. That is a part of satsang, but that is not satsang. See, what is satsang? Satsang comes from an understanding that our goal is common. Differences will be there. Goal is common. Differences will be there. Like, for example, take the same example, cricket. Satsanga means the common goal is cricket. One will like one batsman, another will like another batsman. Not everybody will sit and sing the glories of one batsman or one bowler. That is not satsang. Satsang means what? You understand what I'm saying? Satsang means what? Goal is common. Discussions will happen. In those discussions, everybody will have their own areas of understanding. The problem is not with that. The problem is, you said it rightly, the ego. The ego means there's no fellow seeker there. You are going with an understanding that you are superior. There is no satsanga there. Satsanga means everybody there at an equal level. Everybody there at an equal level doesn't mean Everybody there at an equal level means what? All have the same worries, all have the same anxieties,
Yes.
all have the same problems.
Yes.
That's what satsanga means. Satsanga means what? Everybody will have similar problems. That's what satsanga means. No, sir, I can't deal with these people. I can only associate with Shankaracharya. I can only associate with Shankaracharya types only I can associate with. Fakes only will come to you. Shankaracharya, you can never get attracted to the Shankaracharya. You can only get attracted to a fake. Why? Because it is ego. Ego attracts what? Ego attracts what? What will ego attract? Ego will attract egoless. Huh? Ego will attract another ego only, isn't it? Ego will attract another ego only. Therefore, you follow. Therefore, satsanga means an understanding. What is an understanding? All of us are in the same boat, and all of us are trying to get out. So the starting point is a sense of affection there. Where is affection? Ego only is there. You follow? Satsanga means an affection amongst the group. What is that affection amongst the group? All of us are sailing in the same boat. All of us are having the same problem. All of us are sailing in the same boat. Therefore, we help each other. How do we help each other? By giving reminders. By giving reminders. How do we help each other? By giving reminders. You follow? You don't surrender in satsang. One sick person will not go and surrender to another sick person. Where does surrender come in here? There is no surrendering and all here. There is only one thing. What? An identification. What is identification? Just as how much struggle I am going through to get rid of my attachment and my ego, I see a group of people also doing the same thing. What will come? Love will come. Love will come. Love will come. Yeah. Love will come. You will want to go and hold the hands of the other affectionately, not give one discourse. But now we are used to giving discourses because we are used to taking a superior stance all the time. All the time we take a superior stance. We can never associate with anybody on equal plane. We don't. Satsanga means associating with people on equal plane. Opposite of that, we always associate with people only on unequal planes. Ego it is. Satsanga is different. Are you able to follow? So ego will come into play. Why ego comes into play? Because the moment you start talking, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you lost it. You get possessed. Yeah. சாமி ஆடுற மாதிரி ஆடுவோம். Yeah. You're possessed. Yeah. First, how long can you hold your awareness? 20 seconds, 30 seconds, that's it. Beyond that, it's lost. Beyond that, it is lost. Are you able to follow? So, the satsanga means associating with the one at a similar plane. Similar plane means all of us are doing the same thing. No, I am slightly better. Yeah. LKG, I am 10th standard. No, sir. If that person is LKG, I am in 10th standard. No. Oh, if person is 10th standard, I am in bachelor's. Yeah, how do you know? Oh, you have been here only for 2 years. I am being here for 20 years. Oh, only 20 years. Shankar, 30 years, isn't it? 30 years. More, huh? More than 30. Huh? Correct. More than the Ama Shankar. Correct. More than 30 years. Narayana. What to do now? Yeah, more than 30 years. Oh, somebody came only yesterday. Somebody has been here for 30 years. Therefore, that 30 years is superior to
Yes.
that yesterday one. Ego remains the same. It doesn't make any difference. So satsanga means what? Satsanga means what? All of us are struggling about one thing, what? How to get rid of our attachments.
Yes.
In the way that we want to get in when we are trying to get rid of our attachments, we sit with those who are also trying the same thing. And maximum fight and politics happen there only. Yeah. Maximum fight happens there. Maximum politics is happening there only. Nah. Satsanga has become dussanga now. So, and then finally only one satsanga, sir. Shankaracharya will associate with. Satsanga means only one thing, what? Associating with the wisest person. And you will not know how to assess the wise person. That's why satsanga, I will never give the wise person association at satsanga. See, between you and the wise person, there is no association. Understand that. Association means give and take. You and the wise, there is only, he is the constant giver, you are the constant receiver. Where is association with the wise one? You cannot associate with the wise one. It's an imbalanced relationship with the wise one. With the wise one, there cannot be a relationship possible. No, you give something, he also gives something in return. You do something, he does something in return. No, with the wise one, there's only one-way traffic. What is that one-way traffic with the wise one? Very arrogant is that wise person. Extremely arrogant is that wise person. Because he says, I give you, you receive, full stop. No, but I am giving. No, what are you giving? What are you giving? All that you can give has been transcended already. Then only he is wise. What can you give? What can you give? Supposing if you say, I give this, and the person says, what? Thank you. Nah? It means he need not to. Wisdom means what? What is valuable to you is being transcended. What is valuable to you is being transcended. What association is possible there? That's why satsanga is never with the wise person. Satsanga is always with the dharma and the fellow seekers. Are you able to follow? Satsanga is with the fellow seekers and dharma. Because what can you give? If what you have a value for, if that person also has a value, it means both are in the same boat. That's all. Where is the satsang? Yeah. There's no wise person associating there. You scratch my back, I scratch your back association there. It's a materialistic association. It's purely a materialistic association. What is a materialistic association? Yeah. You give something that I want. In return, I will give something that you want. This is called materialistic association. This is called worldly association. Again, I repeat, what is the definition of materialistic worldly association? Something that I need, you have. So something that you need, I have. Therefore, we both associate with each other. This is called materialistic association. You're able to follow? We want to stop associating like this. We want to turn into the givers. A self-confidence is there. Courage is there to say that I don't need, I don't want. Courage is there. A conviction is there to say, I don't need, I don't want. I will not burden you by asking. I will not burden you by asking. I will not burden you by asking. You follow what I'm saying? So why wisdom is very, very different. Okay? Are you okay?
Is the GD meant for me to understand how quickly I get carried away by my ego in seconds? So what is the God for this?
The question
Or
is,
how to receive from this?
the question that she is asking is in relation to the group discussion, which we were not discussing now. In this classroom, we are not discussing the group discussion thing. One of the days we'll discuss it. In the group discussion, we'll discuss, not in this classroom. Some question she is asking about group discussion, which is not subject matter of this classroom. In this classroom, we will not. You follow? Verse number 14 padingo.
जटिलो मुण्डीलुण्ठितकेशः काषायाम्बर बहुकृत वेषः पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढो सुदरनिमित्तं बहुकृतवेषः जटिलो मुण्डीलुण्ठितकेशः काषायाम्बर बहुकृतवेषः पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढो सुदरनिमित्तं बहुकृतवेषः
One with matted locks, one with head shaven, one with hair pulled out, one disguised variously with ochre robes. A fool, though seeing, sees not. Indeed, the very disguise is for the sake of belly. One with matted locks, one with head shaven, one with hair pulled out, one disguised variously with ochre robes. A fool, though seeing, sees not. Indeed, the very disguise is for the sake of belly. 3 verses is going to talk about the wrong spiritual practices. How the practices happen wrongly. Traditionally, this verse is given to Totakacharya, the one who wrote the Totakashtakam, and who wrote a beautiful Bhashyam on Tattvamasi. He wrote an entire book just on Tattvamasi, not the entire thing, just Tattvamasi. And then he wrote another, after writing Tattvamasi, he would have felt nobody will understand it. Therefore, he wrote another book, 150 verses, simple book he wrote, 150 verses. Shrutisara Samudram, he said. The essence of the Shruti. Shrutisara Samudram. All that. So this is traditionally ascribed to Totaka. One ascetic with matted locks, one with shaven head, one with hair pulled out one by one, another walking around parading in his ochre robes. All are fools. These are all fools. Those seeing, pashyan api cha na pashyati. Pashyan api na pashyati. Those seeing, they sees not. Then what are they doing? Udhara nimittam bahukrita vesha. That external insignia is for the sake of belly, he says. All for the sake of the belly. Udara nimitta means all this for the sake of the belly. Sake of the belly means respect, name, fame, power, position, all put together.
Yes.
Udara nimittam bahukrita veshaha, you have to understand it are all 7, not just food. Because the 7 is the food for ego. What is the food for ego? For the stomach, there is only simple food. See, stomach food is very simple. And the stomach gets satisfied also very easily. You know that, no? Stomach gets satisfied very easily. Senses get satisfied very easily. The ego doesn't get satisfied at all. The ego simply doesn't know what satisfaction is. At least senses temporarily satisfy themselves. You understand that? At least senses temporarily quietens. It will leave you alone for a few hours at least, isn't it? See, you have breakfast, at least it will leave you alone for the next 6 hours. It will not trouble you. 24, it will not trouble you, isn't it? You sleep for a few hours, at least for the next 12, 15 hours, it will not trouble you, isn't it? Senses. Music you hear, 2, 3 songs you hear, it leaves you alone. Yeah. So senses can be satisfied and it can leave you alone for a while. The ego will never leave you alone 24/7. How much ever you feed the ego remains dissatisfied. It means, what is the food for the ego? What is the food for the ego? The food for the ego is what we call as name, fame, power, position, status, wealth, family. All these 7, how much ever you get, ego remains dissatisfied. Dissatisfaction remains the same, isn't it? When nobody is coming, one student looks like such a relief, isn't it? One student looks like a big relief. Yeah. Isn't it? After a period of time, 10 comes. Dissatisfaction remains the dissatisfaction doesn't see 10 means you should be 10 times happier, correct? Logically speaking, you should be 10 times happier. No, it exactly remains it remains the same. 100 comes, 1,000 comes. The whole world can bow down to you. You will still say, the ego will say, but after I die, what will happen? People will build statues for you, and everywhere your statues will be worshipped. Will that satisfy the ego? But I won't be there to see it, no, sir. Ego never gets udara nimittam bahukrita veshaha. So udara nimittam, you have to understand it as all for the sake of belly means not just food. Food for the
Ego.
Food for the ego. All this external insignia is for what? Is to get these things from the world. Remember the ordainer watching you. Remember, there is an ordainer watching you. If that thought is there, you will be careful. There's an ordainer watching you. There is the law that is watching you. There's an ordainer that is watching you. There is one Chitragupta watching, making notes. Yeah, making notes. He's entering. Yeah. That is one way. That is one way of overcoming udara nimittam. One way of overcoming udara nimittam is understanding that there is an ordainer, understanding that there is the law, understanding that every thought and word of yours is being watched, noted, it will come back. Understanding that every thought, word, and deed of yours is noted, watched, and it will come back. Why will you be, why will you not be careful? Isn't it? Udaranimitam. These people think they are above the law. They think that it doesn't touch them. Temporarily, they forget that there is the law. Why? Distracted by that enjoyment, distracted by the sensory pleasures, distracted by the senses and the attractions of the senses, they temporarily forget that there is an ordainer. That is one way. Another way is classic Janaka's method. What is classic Janaka's method? He says, there is a sword hanging above your head, he says. There is that sword, there is a sword hanging above your head, tied by the flimsy thread. Any time it will snap. And it snaps, enga povom? Vijay Rangan. If it happens to you and me, what will happen? No? No, nothing is there, isn't it? Straight it will go. That is classic Janaka's method. If you remember that there is the sword above you, Udara Nimittam and all will go away. If you forget the ordainer, if you forget that there is a sword hanging above you, you will get indulgent. You will start doing things that which ought not to be done. But sir, if you keep thinking about the sword hanging above the head, how pessimistic we'll be in life, how afraid we'll be in life, how can we enjoy? How can we enjoy anything in life? No. Life tells you, you have to learn to enjoy with the sword hanging above you. Because that's what it is. That's what we have. And we can use what we have. Are you able to follow? Udharanimittam bahukrita vesha. Vesha they put. Why that vesha they put? Because the ego wants this food. What will attract people? That's what they say. So, jatilo munti lunchita keshaha kashayambara bahukrita veshaha. Jatila means sannyasi with matted locks, long hair. One doesn't cut hair at all. Actually, it's not cutting hair. One who doesn't cut hair and doesn't wash that hair.
Oh.
That's called jatila. Unwashed, long hair. How it will be? Like jada, no? Yeah, sick they say, isn't it? Have you seen Nataraja matted locks? At least you understand Nataraja matted locks is not curls from the parlor, no? Huh? At least you understand that, no? Because the way it is designed looks like he went to parlor and had and got nice curls and came and is dancing. That matted lock, yeah. Jatilo, that is jatila. That is jatila means matted locks, long hair. Opposite of that is mundi. Mundi means shaven. Ada mundam அப்படின்னா ஒண்ணு இல்லைன்னு அர்த்தம், isn't it? Yeah. Tamil the word mundam has a different, same meaning only. ஒண்ணு இல்லாத இல்லையா? Mundam also means one who doesn't have anything. The sannyasi, if you see, sannyasis will carry a stick with them all the time. Have you noticed it? All the Akaro people will carry one stick with them. They are called Tridandi sannyasi. Tritandi means one who's dependent only on the three. One who's dependent only on the three and not shaved off everything else and dependent only on the three. That is Mundi. In the true sense. In the true sense, Mundi means one who has shaved off everything else and has dependency only on the three. What are the three? Guru, Shastra, Ishvara. Guru, Shastra, God. So he is dependent only on that three. Lunchita Keshaha. In those days, we don't interpret it like this in the books, but then in the classes like this, we have time. So we can interpret in all possible ways. This Mundi and Lunchita Keshaha is a reference to the Buddhism and Jainism. Because Buddhism, they do 24/7, 365 days, they shave. That is Mundi. Lunchita Keshaha, Jains. Why they are Lunchita? Have you ever seen any Jain person taking to sannyasa? Has anybody seen it? You all would not have seen it. I have seen it once in T Nagar, in this marriage hall. It was a huge celebration. Long back. We're talking about early 80s. I was told to go there. There is a huge celebration going on. Go there. So one person from the Jaina family is taking up to sannyas, a girl. You will not want to see that, how they take up sannyas. The guru will come, take some, I think it is vibhuti, I think. I don't know what they put on the hair. No, beautiful long hair she's having. The guru comes, puts that, and just pulls it out. In a matter of 45 minutes, the entire hair is pulled out. She's bleeding. Oh God, and she's sitting like, my God, the way that girl was sitting, it was like, oh, you. Lunchita Kesha. That's what he's referring to. Nowadays, even today, some of them do it. Most have stopped it, but quite a few still do it. So that Mundi refers to the Jatila refers to the Vedic Hindu. Mundi refers to Buddhist. Lunchita Kesha refers to one kind of Buddhism. Kashaya Ambara Bahukrita Vesha. Ambara is reference to another Jainist group. Dik Ambara, they have two Jains, no? Shweta Ambara and Dik Ambara. Shweta Ambara means one who covers themselves with Shweta, white cloth. Shweta means white. One who covers themselves with white cloth is Shweta Ambara. Dik Ambara means one who covers themselves with space around. It means they will walk naked. They will walk around. they will walk around. So he's saying all this is done by people Mudaha, they are called. Why they are called Mudaha? Have you removed the Arthakama and become Dharmic internally? Have you removed your dependency on Arthakama and have you become Dharmic internally? If you have not become Dharmic internally, by doing all this, nothing will change. By doing all this, nothing will change. You follow? Totagacharya is saying, why are you doing this Vesham? Why? Because there is the thing that this gives more, this gives food to the ego. The ordinary ego versus the spiritual ego. Blinding darkness. Isavasya have already spoken about it. Isavasya has already spoken about it. There are two types of egos we have seen. The ordinary materialistic ego, and then the second ego, the far more dangerous, is the spiritual ego. Now, these verses are talking about the spiritual ego. The spiritual ego is a far more dangerous ego than the materialistic ego. What is the spiritual ego? Narayana. What is the spiritual ego? I am holier than you. Why? Because I am holier than you. Why? Because, number one, I am going to Vedanta classes. Narayana, what a problem to Vedanta class it is. Clear. Holier, first thing is what? I am spiritual ego. What? I am holier than thou. Why? Because when you are all chasing the world, see, where am I going? There is a story in the Puranas. Two people died and they were walking. Two people died and they were walking. It comes in the Puranas. And one was telling the other. One is the saint and another is the woman from a low profession. Two of them died and they were walking. So one told the other, you have wasted your life. He was giving the entire discourse. And she was already feeling sad. She was already feeling sad. She said, I wasted my entire life. So they went right up to the door. Two doors. One hell, another heaven. The sannyasi was sent into hell. The prostitute was sent into heaven. Sannyasi said, why? I should be going there. No. She should be going here. I should be going there. No. God said, Yama Kinkara. They're not God. Yamaduta said, see, in that sannyasa thing, you are thinking about world all the time. Even when she was doing the so-called meanly thing, her thought is about God all the time. Are you able to follow? It's not the Vesham. It's not the Vesham. It is the constant thinking. In the world, you took up the ochre robe and were interested in materiality and sensuality. The person stuck in that materiality and sensuality is constantly thinking about God. Therefore, one who thinks about God goes to heaven, and one who thinks about the world goes to hell, irrespective of the Vesham. Irrespective of the Vesham. Kashayambara Bahukrita Vesha. There is this spiritual ego. There is a spiritual ego. There is a spiritual ego versus materialistic ego. Some more thoughts are there on the spiritual ego, which I will continue next week. There is a spiritual ego versus materialistic ego. Materialistic ego is not that problematic. Poor thing. Materialistic ego will bend down very fast. The spiritual ego will not bend. The spiritual ego becomes the The worst kind of the ego. Blinding darkness. Isavasya said it. Same thing, he's expanding it in a same thing, he's elaborating it in a different way here. That's it. But idea remains the same. Ashayambara Bahukrita Vesha. Udaranamittam, the word Vesha, he keeps repeating it. Kashayambara Bahukrita Vesha. Udaranimittam Bahukrita Vesha. Bahukrita. We'll see all that Bahukrita Vesham, the expansion of that Bahukrita Vesham and all. We'll continue next week. We'll take up the clarification and we'll continue. Chalo. How do I know that I have ego? Early signs and deep-rooted symptoms, please. Okay. How do I know that I have ego? The sign of ego is I am right. The sign of ego is I am. The sign of ego is I am right. The sign of ego is I know what I am doing. The sign of ego is I am indispensable. This is the sign of ego. First starts by I know. Because I know I am right. Because I am right, I am indispensable. Opposite in relation to the other. So, in relation to I know, the other don't know. Supposing if I tell you I know and you don't know, obviously who becomes superior? I become superior. I know, you don't know. Because I know, I am right. Because you don't know, you are wrong. It doesn't stop there. It comes to the third. What is the third? I am indispensable. Because I know I am right, I am indispensable. Because you don't know, you are wrong, you can be easily dispensed with. This is ego. And then there are infinite variations of this ego, infinite expressions of this ego. So the first thing to understand in relation to the ego is what? Ego means I know, I am right, I am indispensable. The ego. I am so important. Without me, the whole world will come to an end. The whole world will stop. Why? Because I am very. So I know, I am right, I am indispensable. Is the ego. Early symptoms of this ego. The first symptom of the ego is what? யாரையாவது ஒரு 4 பேரை கரெக்ட் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கணும். Pick up 3-4 people and keep correcting them constantly. The ego. But sir, in work only I am doing, sir, because they don't know. No. By teaching the skill, by correcting the skill, by default you start correcting the personality. You don't even know that. Are you able to follow? What is the early symptom of that? Constantly correcting somebody. First victims, children. Second victims, grandchildren. Thank God life doesn't keep us alive. Clear? If life keeps us alive, third set of victims will be great-grandchildren. Clear? அதுக்குள்ள memory loss எல்லாம் ஆயிடுறது. Thank God, Narayana, memory loss is there. Isn't it? It's a gift actually. Imagine having the memory and correcting generation after generation after generation. What a problem it is. You follow? What is the early symptom of ego? Correcting. You know, ego na rendu தான். put it in a very simple way. Ego means only two. Soumitra. Ego means only two. Policeman, teacher. That's all. Everybody wants to be a policeman. Everybody wants to be a teacher. This is ego. Wherever you are acting like a policeman and wherever you are acting like a teacher, understand that your ego has come into play. Yeah. Ego. You will be the lawyer and you will be the judge. What will happen? What will happen? If you are the lawyer and you are the judge. Yeah. These are all early symptoms of ego. That urge, that irresistible urge to correct. And invariably, who become the tools of this correction? Children. That's why everybody wants to teach children, isn't it? Everybody wants to teach children. I say teach children. I say only old people I will teach. Try and teach old person, you will know how wise you are. Try and teach children, you can be very dumb and teach children. Why? Because anyway they don't know anything, no? Anyway they don't know anything. And anything you say they are going to believe. Poor things they are, isn't it? They should be, at a very young age, they should be taught, no, sir. At a very young age, they should be left alone.
Yes.
At the very young age, they should be left alone. At that age, no, sir, if they're left alone, they will not go into the wrong path and get destroyed. One who is in the wrong path already is guiding the other from going away, from going into the wrong path. How does it work? You follow? Ego, early symptoms of ego. Rendeda, mala. Ego equals policeman plus teacher. Formulas madri I have in my head for few things. And you can go on expanding for 10 years, you can expand this. But keep it like that. Ego means this. Then should we not help anybody at all? Should we not teach anybody at all? You don't teach anybody. You live dharma. You live dharmically. By you living dharmically, you are helping the other, you are teaching the other. Dharma is not to be taught. Dharma is to be lived. You don't teach dharma, you live dharma. Is charity to be done or is charity to be discoursed about? Is to be done. So dharma is to be lived. Yes, Mala, chalunga. With that, we'll conclude. Yes.
I understand this point, sir. When I try to correct myself,
Yes.
During the time period,
Yes.
whether I correct it or not, when I try to correct,
Yes.
I tend to, be silent or whatever. And
Yes.
parallelly, some of the actions of the person some of the actions of my family members who either raise my ego or not, might affect me. So
Yes.
I need to either give my feedback,
Yes.
strong feedback, whether they remove it or not, at least they should not show it to me.
Yes.
While, that's very important to me, otherwise it affects my peace of mind.
Yes.
So it both got to happen parallelly, but that doesn't happen. The other person will try to misuse me because I am trying to correct my ego and trying to be silent, okay, let them abuse me, let them, shout at me. Then how do I handle both? And I should correct myself at the same time, avoid them throwing abuse at me.
Mala, remember this. When you are trying to correct your ego, nobody can hurt you. Remember this. When you are trying to correct your ego, nobody can hurt you. Nobody can harm you. Because removing the ego is to be supported by Bhagavan. Removing the ego is to be supported by Lord. How can anybody hurt you? How can anybody harm you? It means I am thinking I'm getting rid of the ego. But actually speaking, I'm still being egoistic only. Again, I repeat, if anybody who's genuinely trying to get rid of their ego cannot be hurt by external, because getting rid of the ego means to be supported by divine, is to be supported by Narayana. You follow? When you are removing your ego, who comes to your aid? You will not be left abused. You will not be left for abuse. You will not be left vulnerable. You understand this, Mala? See, when you are reducing your ego, when you are making an effort to reduce your ego, you will not be left vulnerable. You will not be left for others to come and abuse you. Why? Because what is protecting you? What is protecting you? Who's protecting you? The Lord himself or herself. The Lord. The Lord is protecting. Dharma is protecting. You follow? Therefore, the question that I am trying to reduce my ego, but when I'm trying to reduce my ego, I'm getting abused, or I'm being vulnerable. That possibility itself doesn't exist, because any little bit you do, swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayade mahato bhayat, and the law and change avad. How much ever we can keep crying and screaming on top of our voice that I am reducing my ego, other is abusing me, other is doing this to me, other. No. Bhagavad Gita, he said it very clearly. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahado bhayat. Number 1. Number 2. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. The doer of good never comes to grief, Arjuna. What are you crying? The doer of good. So remember these two laws. One is swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahado bhayat. Number 1. Number 2. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Durgati means the path of pain and suffering and hurt doesn't happen at all. Why? Because who's protecting? Who's protecting? You know that your Ishta Devata is there standing, guarding you. Nobody can pierce through that Ishta Devata and enter you. Yeah. You know that Narayana is there protecting you. You know Gayatri Devi, Gayatri Mata is there protecting you. You know Shiva is there protecting you. You know Jesus Christ is there protecting you. It's there. They are there standing as the guard. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. The law doesn't change. The dharma is to get rid of the ego is dharma. When a person is trying to be dharmic, others are abusing the dharmic person. Impossibilities. It's against the law. If a good person can be vulnerable, then what is the point of becoming good? You follow? Therefore, this question that when I am even swalpam, even little bit of genuinity that I bring in reducing my ego, instantly you will see the protection. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahado bhayat. Eha vikramanasosti pratyavayo na vidyate. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahado bhayat. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. Again, nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Chapter 8. There he says, the doer of good never comes to grief, because Arjuna is asking, this will happen, that will happen, this will happen, that will happen. None of it will happen. You follow? Think about it. If you still have anything, post it next week. We will take it up again. It's a very important question that everybody to understand. The moment you are on the path, you will not be vulnerable. The moment you take up to the path of dharma, protection comes. You will be protected. You know that you are protected. You can literally see how there is that armor around you. protecting you from the onslaughts of others. You follow? The question is, when I am trying to reduce my ego, how to safeguard myself from the onslaughts of others? For which the answer is, when you are genuinely trying to get rid of your ego, the other's onslaught will not even enter you. Why? Because who's protecting you? The dharma is protecting you. The God is protecting you. You can call it dharma, you can call it Ishtadevata, anything, doesn't matter. Think about it. It's very, very important for everybody to understand. That's why I'm spending some extra 5 minutes on this, because this is something that every one of us should understand. With this, we conclude for today. We'll continue next.